All right, hey everybody, and welcome to this tutorial series that's going to cover some of the basics of Rhino surface and polysurface modeling. Normally I like to link up all of the 3D that you do and that you're trained to do in class with some of your assignments. But in this case, because it's already the second half of the semester and your design assignments haven't really given you the opportunity to practice 3D modeling yet, I thought that I would put together this sheet of little exercises that you can do to begin to get familiar with some of the tools that we use most commonly. So these are by no means all of the surface modeling tools that are available in Rhino, but I thought that I would try to associate these tools with some of the real-world modeling scenarios that I come across the most often as I'm working with site modeling and detail modeling in Rhino. So we're starting from the very, very basic operations on this side of the page, and you're meant to kind of go down through these columns and then go to the next, and every set of exercises gets a little bit more complex and complicated as we go along. So there will be some times when you have to think about what you need to do in order to create the models as I'm instructing. So I might give a few hints on the side to get you started on what you need to do. But it's up to you to sort of look at the commands that are available within Rhino and see how you can get them to work. What I'm going to do in this video series is kind of go through these one by one and just show you how I would complete them. And so that can be your guide to sort of see how someone who has experience with Rhino and knows kind of what they're doing would go about creating and modifying these surfaces. So the very last few exercises are based on real-world projects that I've brought in here, and they would probably take some more effort. I can definitely put together more exercises if that is helpful to you, but let's start just by the very basics. So a lot of the tools that we're going to use in these exercises can be found in this menu over here, which is the surface menu, and if you just cascade this down using the little arrow, you can actually just drag this off to the side and you have your surface creation submenu here. A lot of the commands that we're going to use can be found here, but I will also be typing in the shortcuts as I use them. So if we scroll up here, we are starting with methods to create a planar surface. Planar surface is just a surface that's totally flat. So none of its points are elevated off the z-axis. It's just a completely flat planar surface. So here we have an instruction to do a plane from 2 points. I'm just going to lock the notes over here so I don't accidentally move those notes around. And what I've done is given you some hints about where you can use the points on the page. So we're going to go over here to rectangular plane, and as you can see, if we drop down this, there's even more options here. We have the option to do a vertical plane, fit plane through points, 3 points, etc. So I'm going to just start with this 2 points, and it's going to ask you, so really pay attention to the prompts that Rhino gives you up in the command line. This can really help you when you're modeling. If you're thinking about what you're doing, you can test out some of these different options. So whenever we hit a command that has a cascaded menu, you can be sure that that those options will also appear up here in the command line. So if you change your mind mid command and decide actually need to do a 3-point rectangle or a vertical plane, then you can change your mind and just hit one of these options and change what you're doing. But we're going to stick with these surface from 2 points, and the first point is up here at a given point on the page, and the next point is just over here. So you might use this if you're just creating a ground surface underneath a bunch of lines and you want to just have like a flat ground plane that you want to project your curves onto as a starting point. So this creates an orthogonal plane, and if we wanted to manipulate this further, we could use the gumball and rotate it. But what about if we needed to create a plane that was already angled to begin with? So then we might use the 3-point rectangular plane, which allows you to select 3 points along the rectangle to set it. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to choose P1 here. I'm going to go up to P2 here because maybe I wanted this plane on an angle, and then I can drag the width down to P3 over here. Now, when you're drawing this in real life, you wouldn't have these points set out for you. So probably what would happen is you would have a set of curves from reference drawings that you have brought into Rhino, and you would just, kind of create a random rectangle like this. You can, of course, enter in dimensions if you need them. So if you needed to create some specific dimensions, you could start this plane anywhere. The first prompt is other corner or length. So we can give it a length, maybe, let's say 25 meters. And we can give it a width, let's say 18. And now we have the same size rectangle that we have over here, and we can just move it around to whatever point we need it to on our Rhino workspace. So we can also create planes from points, and that is this command right here, surface from 3 or 4 corner points. In this scenario, you can create your surface just by clicking around at 4 different points. You could also do 3 different points. I often use this when I'm completing a surface in a topography and I have to close off one of the slopes. I'll just use the surface from points to help me close it off. All right, we can also create a surface by using input curves. So on this document, we have a few different layers, and I'm going to turn off the splitting lines over here so that we just have this outer profile of this site. So if we select this curve, and then we go over to the surface from Planar Curves command and just hit it, that will automatically generate a surface from whatever input curve you have. However, it must be closed, which means it cannot have breaks in the plane or in the polyline, and it also must be planar, which means it's flat to one Z direction. So I've given you an example over here, which is the same exact shape in plan. And I'm going to try this surface from Planar Curves command. So if I try that, you see that nothing happens, and up here in the command line it says no faces were made, curve must be closed and planar. So Rhino is really good at giving you tips for troubleshooting. So as soon as you see something that says must be closed and planar, you know that there's something wrong with this input curve. It's either not closed or it's not planar. So let's take a look at this in perspective. And if I take a look, I can see that that there is actually something going on with this curve. Let's take a look at it in the front view. So we see here, this is the curve, and some of these points are not on the z-axis like the rest of these. So it's very slightly distorted off of its orthogonal plane. And what that means is we cannot create a surface from this because Rhino can't calculate a flat surface from these input curves. But we can solve this problem really easily. So let's say maybe you accidentally set your points somewhere in space that they weren't supposed to be while you were drafting, and you weren't really paying attention to whether you were, drafting on the same plane. Well, we can easily flatten these curves, and we're going to use a command called SetPT. It's set point. So within this command, it has 3 checkboxes. You can set the x-axis, the y-axis, or the z-axis. And I'm going to uncheck x and y because all I want to do is flatten the z points to the same point on the Rhino workspace. And it's going to say align to world or align to C-plane. We're just going to leave it with align to world. So I'm going to hit OK, and then it's going to say location for points. And this, you're just going to select anywhere, maybe on one of the reference points that you want to flatten it to. And you can see in the yellow preview that Rhino gives you a preview of how this will look once it's flattened. So I'm going to hit this point, and now if we look in our front view, we can see that that curve, that polyline, is completely flat in the Z-plane. And now we could go ahead and use our surface from Planar Curves command, and it will create a surface with no problem. So whenever you have input curves that are not flat and you're finding it difficult to create surfaces, try using the set point command to flatten those on the Z axis. I'm going to turn on my splitting lines again, and I'm going to ask you to split this surface. So you're going to select the surface and then use the split command. The shortcut is SP, and it's going to ask you for the cutting objects. So I'm going to select all of the other curves that are in this particular area and press enter. And once I do that, you can see that now this surface has been split into all of these different spaces. What Rhino does is it interpolates any of the intersections between the curves and the surface, and as long as there are no gaps in between these, so for example, this line goes all the way to this edge, none of these are have gaps in them, then it will be able to split the surface with those curves. I'm just going to undo that for a second, and what I'm going to do is the split command again, but instead of selecting this boundary out here, I'm only going to select these curves here, and I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to hit enter, and now the only thing that's happened is this has split the surface, and that's because this is a closed polyline, and so that was the only object within this grouping that Rhino could detect as being able to split the surface. It wasn't able to use these to split the surface because this line was also not selected, which meant basically what Rhino was seeing is this. It was seeing a bunch of open polylines that don't reach the edge of the surface, and therefore it could not make a split from that grouping of lines. So just be sure as you're working with splits that your lines are always creating enclosed areas. They don't need to be closed polylines, but they do need to be enclosed areas. So this is an open polyline, this is a closed polyline, but the fact that they're enclosing this space completely without any gaps is what makes the split work. So let's do this on this surface over here, SP, and I'm going to select all of those internal polylines here and press enter. The split has worked properly, but I just wanted to go back to our front view here. So I on purpose drew all of these curves that are within. I lifted up their control points so that they had different heights and depths in the Z-axis. But you can see that Rhino is really intelligent. Even though these curves are not touching the edge, Rhino was able to make a split in plan view because it was able to detect intersections in plan view. If I undo that and I select the surface again, and I select these same lines in perspective view, it's still able to project those curves down to the surface and split those surfaces up. So the thing to note here is that if you're creating a surface from planar curves, it needs to be closed and planar, but if you're splitting a surface, your lines can be pretty haphazard. Rhino is pretty intelligent at being able to detect where objects intersect in space. Of course, you don't want to make a practice of drafting without being attentive to what plane you're drafting on. But if that does happen, it's great that Rhino has the ability to sense where these lines actually are in space and what you're intending to do with them. Of course, if we wanted to make all of these lines properly aligned to the Z-axis, we would just select them and use the set point command with our z-axis highlighted, press OK, and it would bring them down to a point that we select on the surface. Now they're all flat. All right, here we have a series of lines, and we have some offset edges here. We have a couple offset edges here, and they're all disparate. They're not all connected, but they do create an enclosed shape on the inside. So how would I create a surface? If I just wanted to create a surface from this internal shape here, how might I do that? Well, we can select all of these lines and use this surface from 2, 3, or 4 edge curves command in the surface creation toolbar. So I'll just hit that, and it's going to say select 2, 3, or 4 open curves. I'm going to select this one, and this one. That's 3 curves, and hit enter. And you see it kind of creates a surface internally to all of those lines that we selected. But the surface looks a bit weird. It has a lot of lines in it. And let's just check it out in perspective and see what's going on. It's not that any of these surfaces are lifted up or anything like that. They are all flat, but it's just the way that they're put together that Rhino interpolated this set of inputs. It doesn't really make a smooth surface. So what I'm going to do is use another command that's MergeAllCoplanarFaces. And as soon as you start typing merge, a whole bunch of different options are going to show up. Just make sure you've selected coplanar faces here. That's going to turn it into a smooth surface that's completely connected. The reason that we want to have smooth surfaces is that later, as you get more advanced and you're applying materials to these surfaces, if we have a surface like this and we apply a material, you're going to have to do a lot of texture mapping to try to match up the way that the texture is laid out onto these different surfaces. Whereas if we merge them together into one smooth surface, we can lay out a texture map completely over top of this entire surface without having to make any adjustments within. All right, we have another similar set of lines down here, and this one says CurveBoolean and then surface from Planar Curves. So Sammy introduced the idea of CurveBoolean in her isometric, axonometric tutorial this weekend, but I wanted to give you another demonstration of how you can use it as you're modeling. So let's say you didn't know about this surface from 2, 3, or 4 edge curves command, and let's say you just were trying to think like, how can I create a closed polyline of this so that I can maybe extrude it or create it into a surface? We can use the CurveBoolean command. So if you type in CurveBoolean, as soon as you start typing, it should come up. It's going to ask you to select curves. So I'm just going to select all of these and hit enter. And now it says click inside regions to keep. And I'm just going to click inside this region here. You can see that it creates a curve as its output. If this doesn't say curves, if it says something else, just click it until it says curves. And then press enter. And now we have an enclosed polyline that, that goes around all of these different input curves. So you don't have to redraw or try to combine these curves in a new way. You can just use CurveBoolean to create this enclosed polyline. And now you could use the surface from Planar Curves to create a surface within that area. So that's it for the really basic surface command tools. And next I'm going to go over the more modulated surfaces in Rhino.